Commissioner Hay was a proponent of that. I want to say you were the one that spearheaded it. So we're going to be looking at that, and we're doing this through a lot of our water service agreements. And essentially what we do is we have a wastewater treatment center plant. That wastewater treatment center plant, it provides wastewater collection, and it also sewer, and it also provides water to probably about 30 to 40,000 residents outside of the city. So what we look at is, when we do these agreements, essentially what it breaks down is it provides a volunteer power of attorney to annex into the city of Boynton Beach. Right now, we're charging probably about 25% on top of their regular utility bill because they rely outside of the city limits. Well, what we're going to explore is exercising that power of attorney and bringing those individuals into the city of Boynton Beach. So that's going to do two things. First thing is we had to do feasibility studies because we have police resources that we got to look at expanding. I can tell you right now, that's one of the things that I made a priority. When I came on, the city of Boynton Beach Police Department had 129 sworn officers. As of today, with the help of the city commission, we have 171 sworn officers. We were well below the national average, which is 2.1 officers per 1,000 residents. Now we're at 2.2. So we're definitely making leeway as far as leading Palm Beach County when it comes to recruiting and retaining our officers. And I put a heavy emphasis on retention because a lot of the times, essentially you get into an arms race to get quality personnel. And I know Chief Sims, you can attest to that. Maintaining and keeping your talent is very, very important. I'd say that goes with any organization. A lot of the employees in the city, they're getting paid better. They're getting better benefits. Chris Malave, been there 2 years. I've known Chris for probably 20 years, but he can attest that I try to make sure that the city employees are valued and they know that. So I want to make sure that, I know it's a little funny, but I want to coach all the talent I can to come to the city of Boynton Beach, because who's going to benefit from us having the best talent in Palm Beach County? You all, in the form of quality services. So that was a big initiative of mine. The fire department's fully staffed. We have a reserve pool right now of qualified officers that are in our police reserve waiting for openings. So we definitely, and you look around Palm Beach County, there's shortages everywhere. We're fortunate for that. So the annexation thing, you're gonna see that it's gonna dominate the headlines coming up, but I can tell you guys, we're gonna do a responsible annexation. We're not going to do this overnight. It's probably gonna be about a 5 to 10 year process, and it's gonna benefit the city in the long run overall. It has the potential to make Boynton Beach the largest city in Palm Beach County. So, which is going to be, it's definitely gonna be exciting times. So the last thing I wanna talk about is the budget. Our budget this year, and a lot of times we get down into the weeds with numbers. Our budget went up probably about 2.8%, which is right in line with inflation. And that's on top of the fact that we provided pay raises to all of our contractual collective bargaining units and also our general employees, probably about 4.5%, which was well needed. The other thing that we did, we front loaded our fleet services. A lot of the vehicles, police vehicles, fire vehicles, solid waste vehicles, utility vehicles that we use to go out there and service these neighborhoods. We outfitted them with Samsara GPS technology. So we're able to provide, just like body worn cameras for police, now we have Samsara for solid waste drivers, utility truck, utility employees, and we use that to exonerate a lot of complaints that we have against our employees. So, and I can tell you probably about 95% of the time they are exonerated. The other thing I want to briefly go over is a large infrastructure project that we have both in Sandcastle and also the heart of Boynton. I know you've seen the paving, the amount of paving that we've done in the city since I became city manager over the last 3 years, and since the city commission's been sitting on the dais. $8.63 million, the largest in that time period the city has ever seen. So you're seeing actual tangible returns on the taxes that you're paying in the form of quality services, road pavings, police services, fire department services. We've completely went paperless on all of our permitting processes. Next time we have a meeting, Pastor Whiteley and Reverend Dames, I'd like to maybe have some maybe from the building especially doing kind of like a little overview of our permitting process, would probably be beneficial. But Sandcastle alone is about $21 million. We got $16 million grant from the federal government to do that. That's going to be an infrastructure project, improving drainage. I know those of you who've lived here for a while, we're a coastal community, so we always are going to have drainage problems, and we just got to try to stay ahead of it. Part of the Boynton project, I want to say, was $12 million. So those are all partially paid for through grants. So we're going to probably be doing about close to $30 million in infrastructure repairs just in District 2 alone. The other thing, I remember Tory Orr, he brought up that when we have developers coming in, and we always get solicited for affordable housing projects. Whenever we have developers coming in, I know it was an important thing to the community to make sure maybe 15 to 20% of that workforce that they bring in are local. So we can kind of stimulate the economy, provide jobs to the local residents. And that's one of the main things I talk about whenever we get solicited for new projects that are coming in the city. So I will say, listening to you guys coming to these meetings is very, very important. That way I can take it back. I know the new cemetery area, very, very important. Commissioner Woodrow Hay, or Vice Mayor. I've met him multiple times where he's looking for new space. We'll have an idea for a new space. Next thing you know, there's endangered species or protected species in it, and then we got to go back and look at other things. So it's a process. But I will say the Sarah Sims project is probably going to give us a little bit more timeline that we can find the right fit. So because we got to take into account access, processions, making sure that there's enough room, that we don't want to be too hastily and just picking a location. Those are the things I wanted to touch on. What I'll do now is can I get like 5 minutes for Q&A? Do we have that?
For the policing?
No, not for me, if they want to ask any questions. Is there any questions for me, guys?
Okay. Mention about the village rate going down.
Oh, yes, talk about the budget did go down by probably about $40 million this year, contrary to what you see in the media. I'll say that the millage rate, since we were here, the millage rate I want to say was 7.9, and we moved it down to 7.75. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're talking about moving tax rates down versus moving tax rates up, you look around the county, you look at the city of Magnolia Park, they have a 9.9 millage rate. You look at the city of West Palm, they have 9.1. State mandatory statute, you can't go above 10. So what I would like to do is figure out new innovative ways that we can kind of move away from that 10, because the lower we move that millage rate, what you do is you're going to stimulate businesses to come in here, and I'm talking about not retail businesses that pay $15, $20 an hour. I'm talking about businesses that are going to pay $30, $40, $50, $60 an hour that are going to be available for our residents. And that's what's missing in the city of Boynton, is that business infrastructure that we need to kind of progress towards it. And we're moving, we're getting there. It's just going to take time. Some of the different annexation ideas that we're moving forward with, I can tell you are going to be tremendously beneficial to the overall residents. But we'll continue moving that millage rate down every single year, but we're going to do it responsibly, not just doing draconian style rollback rates to where you're going to affect public safety negatively, the utilities department, public works. You just have to have responsible government. So.
Yeah, that plaza that's on US 1 in this district, I was driving by there the other day. It's over by Oak Street.
Oh, yes.
Yes, what's going on there? As I see, it's all like surrounded and closed.
That was part of a process where we were finding them over and over until eventually what we did, we just got ownership of that plaza. So
Okay.
yes, the city now owns that. We haven't closed yet on the Boynton End property, but we're going to be closing on that, I want to say, in the next 14 to 20 days. And it was an $8.1 million price tag, but I can tell you it's going to take away an eyesore in the city because.
No, not the inn, the one over here on US 1.
No, I understand. It's
Oh,
just
okay,
not
okay,
everybody
okay.
talking about the strip mall.
Okay.
That, yeah, the city owns that
We're
property.
almost directly
City's
east of
owns the
here.
property right there at I-95 and Boynton Beach Boulevard as well. So, and we've had overabundance of interest in that property already. Any other questions, guys?
Just curious, the property on the 95 is a desirable property, why hasn't developers bought before the city get that?
Because it's a great question, I'll tell you. Whenever we were going through negotiations with the CRA, you have something called the Live Local Act. So a lot of residents are against density. So whenever you have the Live Local Act, essentially what the state of Florida said, they usurp the city's authority to basically control the design and height of projects through their ordinances. What the state of Florida said was basically, if it's zoned commercially and it's within 1 mile, whatever it's zoned for, you can build to the highest height limitation, no matter what the ordinance says or law in the city. The state of Florida said the developer can come in and purchase that. So in order to control that, the city purchased it, and now you can't have a private developer come in here and build a skyscraper. Does that make sense to everyone? So, trust me when I tell you, it's vastly beneficial to the residents that the city and the city commission decided to buy the property. So,
Dan, I got a question. I want to go back to the
For us to
annexation.
control our
Because when
destiny.
you brought it up, you didn't say how far west. Are we talking Lawrence Road? Are we talking Colebrook West? And depending on where you go, will that create a new district if the annexation takes place? Or is that going to be added to a current district?
after you ask that question.
Glad I asked.
So, what's gonna happen is, we haven't went down the road, but what I would like to see is district expansion versus having a 7-member dais. And I can tell you, there's talks of, if we do that, it would be expanding District 2 essentially all the way down to Hypoluxo. I don't see District 2 expanding west. So, and I've had conversations with Commissioner Hay about that as well. District 1, District 4, I know District 4 is the smallest district we have. We have a lot of room to expand District 4. District 1 is our largest district in the city, along with District 3 is very populated. So we probably have to play with those 2 districts.
So my reason for asking that, because I have a feeling that District 2 is gonna be involved in that. And even with an expansion of District 2, what I don't wanna see, and what the residents don't wanna see, is that we lose our voice.
I understand.
And our representation on the dais. One of the reasons we started this community meeting was the fact that I was hearing from seniors who felt they had absolutely no voice in this community. And I went home and I cried, literally, because we had seniors who felt like they'd reached their golden age and nobody cares. Nobody cares. That was one of the reasons that we started Coalition Clergy along with this community meeting. And so I want to make sure that these people still have a voice in this community and on the days.
No, you're not going to lose your voice in District 2. That's the whole reason that when we looked at it, I actually spoke to David Katz, who was here when the districts were actually formed. And that was one of the #1 things that he goes, like, just make sure District 2 doesn't lose their voice. We talked about it, and I felt like expanding north versus expanding west was vastly the better option. Yeah,
If it takes place and we find different, we coming for you.
I'm here. Just like I'm here tonight.
Go ahead, Dan, you could ask. Yes, Richard.
Yeah, you mentioned about the expansion all the way to Hypoluxo or far west. are you talking about?
We're looking at, right now, when I tell you it's gonna be a very long process, and this is not date certain by no means. What we're looking at, it's probably gonna be just before Jog Road, is where we provide water services.
So from Jog beyond to Lions, is that a different district? 'Cause
That's gonna be all incorporated, we do not service those residents. We provide no city services. This is only for those residents that receive city services from the city of Boynton Beach.
It Though my address is Boynton Beach.
Okay, there's unincorporated Point Beach, and then there's incorporated Point Beach. And all it means is that you have an additional millage rate that you pay for enhanced city services, meaning that police are typically gonna respond vastly faster. You're gonna have your own, fire department, your own police department, solid waste, so everything's gonna be incorporated in the city.
By creating a new district, potentially, does
We're
that
not
mean
creating
more?
a new district.
I'm sorry?
We're not creating any new districts. Are you talking about expanding the districts?
Well, you mentioned the word potentially expanding and you said no. And my question is, if you expanded and went from 4 districts to 5 districts by the expansion, would that bring in more money into the city?
No, we wouldn't have that, because what you would end up having is you would have so many decisions that are split on the dais, that you really would have a stalemated government. So you wouldn't go from 5, a mayor, strong mayor, or a mayor, and then 4 districts. If you put another district there, then what you're doing is you're splitting the vote 3-3 constantly. So no, like, and here's the thing, everything that we're speaking about right now, when it comes to district expansion, it's strictly, it's completely premature, because I guarantee you, just like the charter committee we have, though, that decision is gonna be a board-based decision. That's not gonna come from me, the city manager. That's gonna be a decision that the dais is gonna have to make. And when you guys do wanna preserve District 2's voice, come to the commission meeting, public comment, take your 3 minutes, let your voices be heard. And I guarantee you, there's not gonna be other districts or things like that that are gonna want to, somehow marginalize the voice of District 2. Any other questions?
Just some crazy. Your hand was up. So I got a follow-up. So when we talk about jobs, I'm pretty sure that some of the residents are not gonna be happy. And is the city prepared to hire attorneys or use attorneys to fight their attorneys if they decide that they don't want this?
We have in-house attorneys, we have 6 of them.
Okay.
So we moved away from corporate attorneys and brought in the city of Boynton Beach attorneys.
Any more questions?
All right. Guys, thank you for having me, I really appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.